Then he's talking about Glarer, I guess, and Morbid. Then he somehow connects me to Glarer to Morbid, saying that I approve of, I guess, Morbid's whatever the hell nonsense he's into. So, of course, I wanted to find out about that, made a note, like, okay, what is this that they're saying that he did? And he's gone from YouTube as well, strangely. And either way, that whole part, I'm like, okay, this is wild, whatever. Then Carl comes up, and Carl says, I can't talk about web sleuths without talking about chasing truth. Then he brings up this website. Timothy Charles Holmseth reports. Okay. I searched myself on there, just like he's got the search right here for Levi Page. Oh, I don't know who that is.
Alex Hard, who was 16 at the time, now he's 18. He basically confessed, yeah, my mother, 42-year-old Rebecca Hart, gave me $200 to give to a 15-year-old. Casey Anthony had told him something similar of Lee acting inappropriately. We're searching for Holly. They wanted to rule out all sex offenders first, since that's the most logical step.
I searched myself. Said, okay, this guy wrote something about me? No. Then I put in Tracy Ann. No. Somehow, Carl has connected certain people on the internet to this Levi person who allegedly did something. Then says all these people are connected to this elite group, including me. At that point, Luda was in the chat and said, because somebody, Cheesecake person, was saying, no, that guy was debunked. You're in agreement with this? And he says, well, I don't remember all of it. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. And you said, but this is stuff that you've found.
Don't know kind of credibility to whoever that guy is. I believe he was citing a source. That's the way I asked the question. I don't know who these people are. Or the work done. I just learned about it today. I was on a panel discussing other things. I was not actually expecting this. This came naturally and organically to the stream. Yes, so when I said that this was in his findings, that he didn't have any kind of credibility to let, because he did not know if the man was credible or not. From what I understand, he is not credible. I believe this was to show wherever things led for him, that he found other things. That's how I took it. That's right. That was my perception. And yes, I did ask. But the answer was that he did not lend credibility or lend credibility either way, because I know the man. I think that's what he said.
It looks like Connie said, Levi Page is a friend of Trish on Web Sleuths, and he used to work with her. Is he into some sick things? Is he a sick person?
Tracy, I want you to read through your text. Can we take a pause?
CID at Fort Campbell has already requested and received the evidence of rape, murder, threats made against Holmseth, the reporter here, his child, and you see them, he shows you the way they say, like, the way they message him on Facebook and say, we'll just rape your kids and crap like this. He says he visited Rogersville as part of the Pedophile Pentagon Task Force operations.
Operation Surrender, 100% success at Trump event in Rapid City. I have another thing here. He's a crazy person. I've known about this guy for years, and he's insane.
It murdered John Benet Ramsey in 1996, as well as being involved in many other high-profile crimes.
anybody can do this. You can start a blog and talk shit about somebody. It's been done to me. It's been done to Trisha. It's been done to Levi. He's got shit everywhere about Goddard, Levi, and Kim Picasio. And she has a permanent restraining order on this man.
Hello, Americans, and welcome to Timothy Charles Homeseth Reports.
This is the sort of setup that the government gives you when you're working for Trump. They put you in a shitty little room with a shitty TV and have you play like a YouTube video of American flag. This is how the government works, especially when they're dealing with top level security children rescuing missions.
Investigative journalism and reporting for the times we're living in. I'm Timothy Charles Homeseth. And while I once was an award-winning news reporter for mainstream news from the days before the Great Awakening, I became a target of...
No, he wasn't. He was a putz for some small-town local fucking media. He's not what he claims to be on any level.
Kidnapped and imprisoned by the deep state after I uncovered a worldwide black market baby sales and human trafficking operation being run through the Ukraine embassy in Washington, D.C. I am now the only journalist author.
And that's what goes back to Kim Picasio. He claims that Kim Picasio, this attorney in Florida, without producing any evidence in the last 10 years of him making this claim, has been trafficking children through Ukraine, because why not?
Authorized to report exclusive content for the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. And there is one person between me and President Donald Trump.
49-year-old Timothy Homeseth of East Grand Forks was arrested this past week and charged with a misdemeanor of harassment, violation of a restraining order. Homeseth runs a controversial website called Right Into Action. The site runs all kinds of conspiracy theories.
This is insanity.
The U.S. military has already been rescuing children from underground facilities where they were held like animals in electrified cages, chained, sexually abused, subjected to genetic experiments, tortured for adrenochrome, and murdered. Timothy Charles Homeseth reported the fact for the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force in October 2019. The video has been repeatedly removed by YouTube after it goes viral and approaches 250,000 views. Watch. See that shit right there, because Timothy is 100% full of shit. And I believe that Timothy has pedophilic fantasies because people don't sit around thinking about children being held like animals in electrified cages, chained, sexually abused, subjected to genetic experimentation, tortured for adrenochrome, and murdered. Like, you gotta realize, and that's the disturbing part about people like fucking Timothy Homeseth, is that he sits around and makes this stuff up in his head.
State of Minute, County of Roseau, Roseau, and the custody of the child in the same. The respondent, through her undersigned counsel, hereby moves the court for its ex parte order suspending all future visits of the petitioner with the minor child until this matter is heard before the court. To petitioner Timothy Homeseth, there's his address, Grand Forks. Please take notice that on the first day of November 2011 at 10 a.m. o'clock, or as soon as counsel may be heard, that in the district courtrooms of the Roseau County Courthouse, Roseau, Minnesota, the respondent will move the court for its order as follows: requiring all future visitation of the petitioner with his minor child to be supervised, holding the petitioner in contempt of court for his violations of the previous court orders, that the petitioner be required to undergo an additional psychological evaluation by someone appointed by the court. Such other and further relief as the court does just and equitable. 7/21/2011.
And that's kind of been a weird thing with a lot of the heavy Q stuff. These guys that just they're fantasizing about children being kidnapped and tortured and raped and experimented on in underground layers and telling other people it's true and shit. Like, I think Timothy has some very strong pedophilic fantasies going on. I would not be surprised to find out that he's ever acted on any of those pedophilic fantasies, or that he ever does. It's Like, it's not okay. I don't think that he should just be roaming the streets and shit.
Timothy Holmseth didn't show up.
So what happened in court today?
Ms. Rasmussen called the case, and Mr. Holmseth didn't show up today, so she just issued a bodily attachment warrant to bring him forth for trial.
Okay, so they issued an arrest warrant.
Yep.
Is he hiding, or?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So for now, it's on hold until he's brought into custody.
Because we don't have it all put together clearly. We're not all like the head and the tail aren't connected quite all the way. It looks like it is, but there's some synapses there that aren't firing or something. With all of this first degree of separation, I suppose I let my imagination run wild a little bit. That's my bad. What Carl was relaying to us was Holmseth's view. That is Timothy Holmseth's forum. That's his page for his articles.